Today, we are diving deep into our own minds. We're going to explore these silent, powerful forces that shape everything we believe to be true. We're going to uncover the hidden traps that can keep even the smartest, most sincere people from seeing the whole picture. So let's kick things off with a question I'm pretty sure we've all wrestled with. How is it possible that two intelligent, totally well-meaning people can look at the exact same world, the same set of facts, and come to completely opposite conclusions? And not just that, but both of them are absolutely certain they're right. How does that happen? Well, the answer, as it turns out, isn't always found in the evidence itself. It's in the processor. It's in our brain. See, our minds aren't like cameras just passively recording reality. Oh no, they're much more like artists, actively interpreting and, even changing what we see based on what we already know, or maybe more accurately, what we think we know. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to identify the two main stumbling blocks our minds set up for us. Then, we'll see how they work together in this really powerful loop. After that, we're getting practical. We'll talk about tools to discipline our search for truth. And we'll wrap it all up with a handy checklist you can use yourself. All right, let's get right into it. Part 1, the mind stumbling blocks. In this section, we're going to put a name to the two key players in this whole mental drama that quietly steers what we believe. So on one side, you have preconceived ideas. These are basically the beliefs we carry around before we've really looked at all the evidence. You know, stuff we picked up from our family or just our life experiences. And on the other side, you've got confirmation bias. This one's the active part. It's our mind's natural habit of looking for and paying attention to anything that proves what we already believe. I love this metaphor because it just nails it. A preconceived idea, all by itself, is just sitting there, like a pile of fuel. But confirmation bias, that's the engine. It's what ignites the fuel and propels our belief forward, often causing us to just blow right past all the warning signs telling us we might be on the wrong track. Okay, so now let's see how these two forces don't just exist side by side, but actually team up. They create this powerful, self-reinforcing loop that can be incredibly hard to escape from. So here's how this loop works, step by step. First, an idea takes root in our mind. Second, our confirmation bias immediately gets to work, cherry-picking all the evidence that supports that idea. Third, any evidence that contradicts it gets ignored, explained away, or just flat out dismissed. And finally, after being fed a steady diet of proof, that original belief just hardens like concrete, becoming even tougher to change. Let's make this real. Imagine someone's preconceived idea is, my religion is the one true faith. Their confirmation bias is going to make them focus on all the amazing, positive spiritual experiences they've had. And at the same time, it'll help them just kind of skim past any historical problems and completely dismiss the fact that people in other faiths have experiences that feel just as real and sincere. Any challenges to their belief aren't seen as valid points. They're reframed as tests of faith. And this loop works for everyone, no matter what you believe. Let's flip the script. Take the opposite idea. Religious people are irrational. In this case, confirmation bias is going to shine a spotlight on the most extreme fringe groups, while totally ignoring the countless brilliant religious scientists, philosophers, and thinkers throughout history. Thoughtful counterexamples are avoided, and the person just becomes more and more sure of their original idea. The key takeaway here is that this isn't a religious thing or a secular thing. It's a human thing. Now, I know this might all sound a little depressing, like we're all trapped, but we're not. Look, we can't just get rid of our biases. They're baked in, but we can learn to manage them. And that brings us to our third section, disciplining your search. This is all about getting the tools we need for a more honest search for truth. So, what's the single most important tool, the master key that unlocks this whole loop? It's these 4 simple words, I might be wrong. Just adopting that stance is, it's a total game changer. It's not about being unsure of everything. It's about being open enough to let the truth change your mind, no matter where that might lead. Okay, so starting from that foundation of humility, here are 4 really practical strategies. 1, start with, I might be wrong. 2, go out and actively look for the smartest arguments from the other side, not the easy to knock down ones. 3, watch your emotions. If you feel a sudden flash of anger or feel really smug about something, that's like a little red flag telling you that your bias might be driving. And 4, just be patient. You don't have to solve every single puzzle right away. It's okay to live with a little uncertainty. And that brings us to our final section, and it's a really practical one. We're going to go through a truth seeker's checklist. Think of it as a concrete tool you can pull out anytime you're exploring a big, important question. Let's quickly walk through these. First, you ask yourself, am I really willing to be wrong? What that means is, are you more interested in what's true, or are you just trying to win? Next, have I listened to all sides? And that means listening to understand, not just listening to find holes in their argument. Then, do I weigh evidence fairly? This one's huge. We often demand perfection from an argument we don't like, while giving our own side a total pass on its flaws. And finally, am I watching for my bias? Can you catch yourself in that moment when you dismiss a fact just because it makes you feel uncomfortable? And here it is, the final and maybe the toughest reflection. Ask yourself this. If someone from a totally different background, a different country, a different worldview, followed this checklist just as honestly as you did, would you respect their conclusion, even if it was different from yours? If your answer is yes, you are on a fantastic path. If the answer is no, well, it might be a good moment to think about the standards you hold for others and for yourself. At the end of the day, the search for truth isn't something you finish. It's a journey. It takes real courage to face facts that challenge you. It takes humility to admit you don't have it all figured out. And it takes the discipline to question everything. Most importantly, to question yourself. Thank you for joining me.